if you ask the same question to 10 different people and receive 10 different answers about the success or outcome of that particular question, then you probably know that this is a case of mismanagement. Similarly, if you ask the person managing a particular initiative or a tool or a project and the answer of that person changes based on who is asking the question, then probably you have your second cue that a particular project or event or tool or merger has been mismanaged. Now, there are n number of ways to identify a case of mismanagement. Most of the times we do it because we are experienced in it, but I would like to talk to you about how I think we should manage mismanagement. The first thing that I would do when there is a mismanagement is follow this concept of ABC, where I would like to assess the impact of or the extent of the damage that has been caused because of this mismanagement. There are n number of tools available in the market to do this assessment, depending on what type of mismanagement we are talking about over here. Once we assess the damage, the person who is responsible for turning around the situation or for correcting the damages that have been caused because of mismanagement, let that person be prepared to walk away from the situation and prepare the management to accept that this is a case gone wrong and nothing can be done. Because unless we have this option of walking away, we will not be able to we will be so invested in that project or initiative that we will not be able to effectively or objectively take the decisions required. And the third thing is that call out on the cases of mismanagement wherever they have been reported. There is no point in hiding or trying to put mud on a particular case of mismanagement. But once we identify, we assess the damage, we are prepared to walk out of the situation, or we call out the mismanagement that has happened, the person, the turnaround specialist, the turnaround artist, how would they identify the causes of mismanagement? How would they tap into those 4 or 5 things that need correction so that this case can be recovered, right? Now, I have a concept that I suggest you consider while trying to be a turnaround specialist in a case of mismanagement. Now, the first thing is, you can visualize any case of mismanagement. It could be a new tool that was deployed but not adopted. It could be a merger gone wrong. It could be a project that was done according to the person who was doing the project but not done as per the customer. It could be the restructuring of a particular team. It could be launch of a new product. Anything. Just visualize your situation and think of what can be done. The first thing, according to me, that needs to be done in order to manage a case of mismanagement is to agree on the scope. What was the scope of this merger or this tool or this new launch? Unless we are clear about the scope, all the stakeholders agree and sign off on the scope, it becomes very difficult to manage a case of mismanagement. The second thing, after we have finalized the scope, is to understand who is responsible for delivering the scope. What are the roles and responsibilities that tie different people, different organizations, different entities to the scope? And why is this important? This is important because a lot of times, a lot of people assume that their role and responsibility in a particular task is something, but unless we write it down, we agree on it, we sign on it, it becomes very difficult to pinpoint the role and responsibility of each person. And these roles and responsibilities should be agreed and should be identified at the stage of after ABC. Once you've called out the mismanagement, do understand and agree that in order to make this project a success, you need to have these roles and responsibilities, and who exactly would do that. Once we have the roles and responsibilities tied, we need to ensure we have the right team, right tools, right resources, right budget to implement this change. Now, when we have the roles and responsibilities and do not have the right team for implementing a particular change management project or a tool deployment or a merger execution, it becomes really challenging. Again, the tools could be IT tools, could be organizational tools. The budget could involve hiring, it could involve procurement of new material, new partnerships. Your other resources could be required approvals, permits, licenses, etc. needed to take care of the situation. Once you have the responsibilities, the scope, the tool, the team, the resources all assigned, ensure that our resources are empowered enough to be able to call out a spade for a spade, and they have the right powers and the right presence in the organization, so that they are able to take decisions, they are able to say yes and no when required. Unless we have an empowered team, whatever be the amount of budget we have, whatever be the amount of approvals we have, it is not going to help us, because if the team is not empowered to take the right decisions, they will not be able to ensure that this project crosses the river. Once we have all these in place, the next set of things that I would recommend you look at is the governance. How many people are reviewing this particular project? What are the metrics? How frequently are they reviewed? What is the way forward when a particular metric does not meet its target? Who is responsible for ensuring that these metrics are met? So a lot of governance requirements also are important, because what happens is, in a lot of projects, the governance at the time of decision making is very high, and during execution it usually fades off, and finally when we see the deliverable, we realize this is not what we set out to do. And so the governance angle is also very important, and these all could be reasons why a particular project or an initiative was mismanaged in the first place. Once we have the right governance in place, we should have a Gantt chart or a list of things that we need to do, and we need to ensure that we meet the timelines for the deliverables. So the next set of things that we need to look at are deliverables and the timelines. Once we have the deliverables and timelines set, we can assign each deliverable to each resource, each team. We can tag these deliverables and these timelines to the roles and responsibilities, and ensure that everybody is accountable to ensure that this project or this initiative becomes a success. And the last thing I would see when I'm trying to manage a mismanaged project or initiative is to look at person specific issues that must have caused this particular mismanagement in the first place. The person angle is usually very low, and hence I've put it at the last, and I'm not ruling it out, because there could be a random situation here and there where a particular person, despite having everything right, is not able to contribute in the required way, or understand the requirement in a particular way to be able to ensure success of this particular initiative. So ensure that you look into all these aspects when you're trying to remanage or manage or turn around a case of mismanagement. Here I'm not talking about manager. Here I'm not talking about a manager going wrong or a manager not managing anything properly. A project or an initiative being mismanaged could be a culmination of a lot of issues, and some of them I have described over here. These need not be, that's why I've put person in the end. A project or an initiative can be mismanaged because of any of these issues. We have everything, but the team is not empowered. We have roles and responsibilities, but we do not have the right team. We have everything, but nobody actually reviewed this project and corrected us at the right point in time. We have everything, but we do not know what actually the scope is. And that is why my initial question of, if you ask the same question to 10 people about what the scope of a particular project is, if you get 10 different answers, then you're in trouble. Similarly, if you ask what the deliverable is to 10 different people, and you get 10 answers that this was the probable deliverable of this particular project, or this was the timeline, or 10 people have different interpretations of what their role and responsibility is in a particular project, you know that this is a case of mismanagement. Similarly, if different people ask these questions and the answers change based on who's asking the question. So if you feel that the budget approver is asking the question, the team probably say, if they say that they do not have budget, and if someone else asks the question, they say that the budget is approved, you know that for the same question, depending on who's asking the question, the answer changes. You know there could be a case of mismanagement. So consider this framework and tell me how it works out for you.